welcome. Cosette here. I'll be leading you through a back bending sequence to help you prepare for various types of back bends which require spinal extension, hip extension, mobile shoulders, and strength also through your hamstrings, your thighs. So we'll just get started on the back, please. We're coming into a half shavasana. Knees are bent. Plant your feet firmly, at least hip width apart. Knees could stay separated or bring them together. Okay, we'll place one hand over the chest, the other hand over the low belly. Eyes might close if you're comfortable. I encourage you to just begin where you are, finding what that is for these first few moments of your practice. You stay open and kind and curious with what your practice can bring you. Pay attention to what goes on internally as well as externally and how those two can come together. Steady breathing through the nose. Allow it to expand and move beneath both of your hands. A few more cycles. Open your eyes. Take a full body stretch. Arms back, feet forward. Okay, roll the ankles around, roll the wrists. Get some of the joints moving. Can you reach fingertips and toes farther from each other, lengthen through the body? Then bend knees towards your chest. Flexing the knees, the hips, a little in the spine too. Pull thighs closer to yourself and rock a little bit side to side. Okay, stir the knees around. You start with little circles going a few times in one direction. You stir your knees in the opposite direction. Okay, interlace fingers over the right shin. Extending left leg forward for easy wind removing pose. Use opposition, driving left heel forward as you guide right knee towards you with the help of hands. The hands are allowing your right hip to move into deeper flexion. And the front of the hip is shortening. Your chin could be slightly tucked to smooth out the neck. Another breath. Release right leg forward next to left and bend left knee. Interlace fingers over the left shin. Using your hands to guide your knee towards you while you actively push right heel forward. Release your left leg forward next to right. Setting up for some bridge poses. Let's rebend both knees, stepping feet on the mat. Feet at least hip width apart. Arms are down by your sides. So we're going to actually start with a movement through the arms. So with control, keeping the arms straight, reach them up towards the ceiling and then back overhead. Okay, then reverse that, taking the arms up towards the ceiling, smoothly down to your sides. Again, arms reach up and back. Maybe the backs of the hands touch the ground. And then smoothly lower the arms, or just reverse, bringing them up and to your sides. Okay, once more, you're going to reach the arms up overhead, and then just hold the arms here. Now notice how the back wants to extend or back bend. Okay, if you can, press your back ribs towards the mat. Okay, kind of closing the core, the front core. Another breath here. Back ribs towards the mat. And with control, take the arms up and return them down to your sides. Okay, using our lower body now. Push through the feet to raise the hips. Okay, front hips lengthen, hips extend here. Activating hamstrings. Squeeze the glutes a little. Then lower the spine and pelvis down with control. Again, pushing through the feet, raise the pelvis, extending hips, squeeze your glutes gently at the top, then lower down. The next, moving arms and lower body together, push through the feet. As you raise your hips, take the arms to the ceiling, then overhead. Pause at the top. In slow motion, we're going to lower the spine, the hips and arms at the same time. Okay, same action with the arms along the same track. Again, pushing through feet, raising hips and arms. Arms land overhead behind you. Can you raise your hips another millimeter? One more breath. Then lower the spine, pelvis, and arms at about the same time. Okay, pause here at the bottom. Okay, now move your feet a little wider, maybe as wide as the mat. You can take arms away from you as well, like a T, and move the knees side to side, like windshield wipers. Your head rocks right to left in the opposite direction of the knees. Go to each side once more. Then curl knees to your chest, wrapping arms around your legs as tightly as you can for now. With hands behind thighs, rock forward and back. Okay, do this 2 or 3 times to tabletop position. They also called all fours or quadruped. Align hips over knees and shoulders over wrists. The fingers are spread apart. You root the base knuckles and kind of grip the fingertips. Okay, this is how you want to distribute weight through the hands when there's weight in the wrist. Okay, now for cow, start to lift your tailbone, lowering the belly. You feel how the pelvis moves the spine. For cat, we want to send tailbone down, pelvis tipping back slightly. You could look at the belly button. Again, cow, tailbone lifts, initiate from the pelvis. Then cat, rounding your back. Just once more from here. Again, cow, extending the spine. Cat, slightly flexing through the back. Now come to neutral. Bring elbows to the mat. Elbows under the shoulders. Forearms make the number 11. Do your best to keep them parallel. Bring attention to the shoulder blades, the scapula. We're going to do some scapula push-ups, basically moving them apart and towards each other. So start with protracting shoulder blades apart. Actively push your arms down. Broaden the upper back. Low belly tone the whole time. Then retract shoulder blades slowly inward towards the spine. Your chest sinks, but with control. Again, shoulder blades broaden apart. They kind of wrap around you. Then retract the scapula or shoulder blades inward. Again, shoulder blades apart, and shoulder blades retract. Okay, once more, protract the shoulder blades apart. Remember this feeling. This is a very stable position to create through your shoulders. And you're going to press up to the hands, tabletop position, and keep shoulder blades wrapping around you, moving apart. Okay, with this strength, step one foot back at a time for high plank. Okay, you could always lower the knees if you want to do the supported version. Okay, lowering knees will lessen load, but you're still building strength, pushing yourself away from the mat. Okay, now, as well as pushing yourself away from the ground, pull your palms and toes towards each other, or palms and knees if knees are down. Lean forward, look forward, and smoothly lower yourself all the way to your stomach. Untuck the toes. And from here, we're just going to raise the right leg from the thigh to the toes. Try to make the right leg longer than the left. Lower the right leg down. Then lift left leg. Okay, keeping front of the hips on the mat. Try to make the left leg longer. Then release. Okay, now you can just stack hands in front of you. Rest your forehead on your hands. I'll lift my head so you can better hear me. We're going to try to strengthen the hamstrings more here and work on hip extension. So bend your right knee. You can flex or point the foot. Pretend you're squeezing a tennis ball between your right calf and thigh. Squeeze that ball. While you squeeze it, can you lift your right knee a little off the ground? Hips stay level on your mat. Lower the right knee, but continue to squeeze the tennis ball. And again, raise your knee. A little extension in the hip, you're moving your thigh behind you. Lower the knee down. Keep squeezing the ball. Once more, lift your right knee, firing up the hamstring. Another breath. And release. Right foot back, take a pause. Try to soften the thighs, the hips for a moment. Okay, this hip extension stuff is really important for back bends. Okay, now we're going to bend the left knee, flexing or pointing the foot. Squeeze a tennis ball between your calf and thigh. While you squeeze, lift your knee. A little lift. Lower the knee down. And again, lifting your knee. You focus on the action of lifting. Don't worry about height. Lower your knee down. Continue to squeeze the tennis ball. One more time, commit. Lift your knee. Holding here, another breath. Release. Left foot back. Soften for a few moments. Okay, so next you're going to move your arms just off the sides of your mat and make a cactus shape. So elbows are bending about 90 degrees. Here we're going to have the palms facing down. You can look down. Now just engaging the upper back, raise your arms straight up off the floor. Here we want to try to retract the shoulder blades. Lower arms smoothly, slow motion. And again, raise your arms, squeezing shoulder blades inward. And release down with control. One more time, lift your arms. Okay, lift your chest as well, like a low cobra. Now place your hands outside your ribs. Child's pose, pushing hips towards heels. Yeah, so hips towards heels, your head could rest on the mat. If it hovers, it's okay. You might make a pillow for your head, stacking hands or using a towel. Another breath here. Okay, moving into a tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over the knees. Okay, tuck your toes under, gazing ahead of the fingertips. Let's hover knees a few inches off the ground. Okay, waking up muscles, especially through your center, through your torso and shoulders. For downward facing dog, raise your hips. Your hips high, hands push down and forward. Okay, lengthening legs. Okay, to an appropriate degree, you might have to bend your knees in order to elongate the upper body. You might have to widen your stance so the hands and or feet could move. A couple more breaths to arrive in your pose. Can you hug front ribs in so we aren't resting in the shoulders, not overarching the back? Okay, coming up high on the toes. Bend your knees and take many steps to the front of your mat. The feet could be together or hip width. Half lift, chest reaches forward, palms could push against the shins. Fold, hands and head down. Weight is in the front of the feet. Again, halfway lifts. Low belly toned, neck is smooth. Fold. And now rise up to standing. Arms will circle up. Okay, just keep arms about shoulder width above you. Okay, bring your right arm down by your side and bend upper body to the right. A little stretch for the side body. Pushing through both feet. Energy up through the chest. Let's rise to center, both arms up. Left arm by your side, bending upper body to the left. A graceful curve from feet to right fingertips. Rise to center, arms up, hands to heart. Arms by your sides. And just roll the shoulders around a few times. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. And let's establish mountain, your first standing posture. And ground the corners of your feet and try to make your footprints an inch deeper. Feel your relationship to the earth and how it provides stability. And from the ground, energy rises so you can grow an inch taller. Okay, some energy in the arms here. Okay, palms can spin forward. Okay, another full breath. Okay, circling arms above your head. Palms can touch above you. Fold forward, hinging at the hips. Okay, bend your knees on the way if needed. Half lift, long back. High plank, plant your palms, step the feet back. You remember, like earlier, to pull your palms and toes or palms and knees towards each other. And while you pull, creating tension, lean forward, pull and lower all the way down to your stomach. Untuck your toes. Okay, take the arms forward, arms at least shoulder width. You can look down. When you're ready, lift everything for locust. Engaging the back body, shoulders in flexion, hips in extension. Okay, another breath here. Then move your arms back by your sides. Stay lifted, continue to breathe. Press the tops of your feet onto the mat. Place hands outside your ribs and lower the chest. Okay, we'll take a low cobra. You were basically just in that a moment ago. Lift your chest. Stay here, or for more, take high cobra or upward facing dog. You're going to press through the hands, deeper back bend as you lift the chest. Thighs could float in upward facing dog. Downward facing dog next. Tucking toes, raise hips. Another full breath. On your next cycle, come up high on the toes. Bend your knees, stepping or walking to the front of your mat. Half lift. Fold. Rise up to standing. Arms circle above you. Hands at your heart. Arms up, take up space. Fold forward, hinging at your hips. From here, just step your left foot back. Okay, lower your left knee gently for a low lunge. Okay, untucking left toes, and we're just going to climb hands to the right thigh. Okay, so for this low lunge, remain strong, pushing through both feet. Okay, if it's hard to do that, maybe shorten your lunge front to back. Okay, now for back bends, you do want to have somewhat open front hips, okay, the hip flexors. So to help stretch the front of the left hip here a little more while being strong, we're going to think tailbone towards right heel. So tailbone towards right heel, this kind of engages the front of your hip and low core. Okay, as you send tailbone to right heel, energetically try to push your left knee back without actually moving it. So tailbone forward as left knee tries to push back. Pretty subtle. Okay. Another breath where you are. Now lower the hands, and we'll take a half split. Hips move back, lengthening right leg. Right leg may or may not be straight. You can always use blocks here under your hands to raise the ground. Okay, just send the chest forward. Okay, feeling the back of the thigh lengthen. Okay, now just to engage and strengthen the front of the right hip, can you lift your right heel off the ground? Lift your leg and lower it softly. Okay, squeezing front right hip stuff. Again, lift your heel. Lower smoothly. Okay, you could always use a block. That might make it easier to raise the leg. Okay, again, lifting right heel. Lower it down. Return to a low lunge shape. Rebending right knee, tuck your left toes under. Lift your left knee. Okay, we'll try supported warrior 3, moving your hands ahead of the right foot, weight to right foot. Lifting left leg. Left leg can just be about hip height. Push through the supporting foot. You might need blocks here too, under your hands. Okay, always feel free to raise the ground. Chest forward, another breath. Forward fold, left foot next to right. Halfway lift. Folding again. Okay, this time, right foot steps back. Take your time setting up your low lunge. Right knee is down, untuck the toes, and climb hands to the left thigh. Pushing down your feet. Try to sense what muscles activate by pushing into the ground. Here you're already creating some length on the front of the right hip, but to add a little more of a stretch, but to keep the muscle active while you lengthen it, we're going to send the tailbone, just think tailbone towards your left heel. Okay, so as you send tailbone forward, try to push right knee back energetically, so you're not actually moving it. Tailbone forward, right knee drags back. Okay, adding some intensity. Another breath here. Lower hands and rock hips back, setting up your half split. Lengthen left leg, chest forward, and more than down. A moment here to lengthen the back of the thigh. And working on our left hip flexor. Can you lift your left heel off the ground? Lower the heel down. Okay, trying to pause at the top when you've lifted. Again, lifting the heel. Breathing. Lower it down with control if possible. If you need to raise the floor, use blocks under your hands to open up the space between your torso and left leg. Try again to lift your left heel. Lower. Then lunge forward like low lunge. Tuck right toes under, lift right knee. And moving into your supported warrior 3. Load more weight into left foot. I would move the hands ahead of left foot, make a tripod on the ground, and kick your right leg back. Energy through both legs, pushing left foot through the mat. Torso forward as you kick right heel back. Another breath. Forward fold, right foot close to left. Half lift, palms can push against the shins. Fold. Rise up to standing. You're taking arms above you. Simply close hands at your heart. Okay, resting arms at your sides. Let's try a couple heel raises. So when you're ready, raise your heels. And just go slow to build better control and strength. Tall through the body, continuous breath through the nose. And bring the heels slowly back down to the mat. And again, heels rise. Pause at the top. Lower heels down. Okay, adding more as you lift your heels. Reach arms above your head. Just keep arms about shoulder width. Reach arms with purpose. Keep the heels raised and take a vertical twist to the right. So left arm reaches forward. Let the chest turn. Right arm reaches back. Okay, the pelvis will turn a little with the spine. Come back to center, arms up, no rush. Keep the arms up as you lower your heels. And then again, we're gonna raise the heels. Breathe tall, vertical twist left. Right arm forward, left arm back. Okay, untwist, arms overhead and center. Lower your heels. Forward fold, hinge at the hips. Halfway lift. Okay, go to a high plank. Clench your palms and step back. Okay, so on toes or knees, we'll bring elbows down for forearm plank. Elbows under shoulders. Okay, so like your high plank, we're now going to try to pull elbows and toes towards each other. Pull into center to create that intentional tension. Resist gravity, waking up your center. Okay, strong abdominals are needed for a better supported back bend. Okay, from here, softly lower your knees, then your hips for Sphinx. Untuck the toes. Elbows still under shoulders, maybe slightly ahead of them. Press through arms, extending the spine. Allow the front abs to lengthen, okay, after just contracting them a lot. Hug front ribs in, okay, just to lessen pressure on the mid-back. Okay, now begin to lower your chest and slide your hands back so they're outside your ribs under the elbows. Take cobra or upward facing dog next, lifting your chest. Okay, downward facing dog, raise your hips. A moment to arrive. Keep both hands pushing forward. Send your right leg back and up for three-legged dog. Right knee towards your nose. Step forward quietly. Stay on the ball of your left foot now, and just hover your fingertips off the mat. Okay, make sure your legs are working, you're pressing through the entire right foot. Brace the belly a bit. Arms will now reach back, torso forward. Light through the heart. Stay here or take the arms forward, framing the ears, adding a little more strengthening for shoulders. Crescent lunge next. Arms up overhead. Okay. And naturally there'll be a slight tilt forward in the pelvis, which is normal, especially with the leg extended behind you. Okay, that's okay, but if you want to level the pelvis more and bring more space to the low back, just keep your left knee softer. Okay, from here, bring palms together overhead. Bend your elbows, okay, thumbs behind your head or neck. Try to keep your gaze forward, pressing your head against your arms gently. Okay, you might be able to get your elbows closer towards each other by spinning biceps back. Okay, then for a small back bend, more extension in the spine, press your head against your arms, lift your chest, lift behind the spine. Okay, that sense of upward energy will keep the back bend more balanced. Arms up, return to neutral. More weight to your right foot, stork pose. Let's lift left knee in front of you, flexing left hip actively. Supporting legs strong. Vertical twist to the left. Just take right arm forward, left arm back. One more breath. Untwist to center, back to stork. Okay, left foot meets right. Hands to your heart. Arms by your sides. Pause here to reset, okay, near the top of the mat. On your next breath, arms circle up. Fold forward, hinging at your hips. Halfway lift. High plank, clench your palms, step it back. And we'll do one more forearm plank. So elbows to the ground, elbows under shoulders. Use knees if you need to. Knees could be on the mat behind your hips. You want to put just enough load on the joints that they can hold you, they feel challenged, but there's no straining, not too much straining. You pull your elbows and toes towards each other. One more breath. With control, lower the knees and hips for another sphinx. Untuck the toes. Extending the spine now. Press through arms, shoulders don't shrug. Okay, and then you could keep front ribs hugging in. Okay, lessen weight on the spine. Lower the chest and slide your hands back outside your ribs. Your choice, cobra or upward facing dog next. To downward facing dog. Okay, upper body steady. Take the left leg back and up. Left knee towards your nose, stepping forward. Okay, stay on the ball of your right foot. Make sure the feet do not cross and float fingertips off your mat. Tack left hip back, keep the chest forward, arms back. And brace the belly a little, supporting the spine. Option to reach arms forward, framing your ears, adding some load up top. Then bring it up to crescent, high lunge. Set your gaze ahead of you, both feet and hips facing forward. Okay, can you sense the position of the pelvis here in space? A slight tip forward is normal, okay, especially with a leg behind you. But you could level things out by just softening right knee, tailbone down just a touch. Bring palms together overhead. Elbows bend, thumbs behind your head or neck. And you can try to spin the bicep back. Okay. If you have the mobility to bring elbows closer and press your head against your arms. Try more of an extension in your spine by lifting behind the spine, lifting through the heart. And keep the back bend balanced, not putting it all in one part of the spine. Okay, arms overhead. More weight to left foot for stork. Draw right knee forward, drive left foot down, tall body, breathing. Add your vertical twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm back. So just keep arms shoulder level, reach through arms, use that reach and more internal strength to rotate. One more breath here. And arms up, untwist. Right foot meets left, hands to heart. Lower your arms, a pause in mountain. Okay, just enough effort is required to be tall. Okay, so now just turn to your left, quarter turn to the left. I'm on a busy street, so it could be a little loud. We're going to step out now to the side, probably to the left, so you have about 3 feet between your feet. Let's bring hands onto hips. And leading with your chest, start to hinge forward. The knees could bend on the way. For a wide-legged stretch, we'll place hands on the ground. This is a grip. And look between or ahead of your hands. Can you feel how that affects your spine? Can you elongate the torso? Shoulders back. You could stay higher with the chest. Knees might stay bent too. Maybe you hinge deeper at the hips and fold gradually farther into the pose. Always move in increments, in steps. Pay attention. Keep the base strong, your base, by shifting weight slightly forward in the feet, firming thighs. Shoulders stay away from ears. One more breath here. And on fingertips, take a halfway lift. Hands to your hips, and slowly come up to standing. You take a pause. Okay, now turn your heels in and toes a little out. So have your feet pointing at maybe 10 and 2 o'clock or 11 and 1. Keep knees and toes pointing the same way as you bend your knees. Okay, coming into horse stance. You bend your knees, try to pull the knees back. The outer hips work here. Now begin to rock side to side. Okay, so you're just fine letting knees go past the ankles, maybe past toes. If you need less, do less. Okay, to add on, start to stir the knees around, allowing for some rotation, mindful of course. Go a few times in each direction. Stay strong while you keep the hips low. Okay. Once you've explored both directions, if you're stirring the knees, come back to center. Keep the knees bending, keep the power in your hips. Hands to thighs, fingers can point forward or back. Let's just gently press the left shoulder forward and down. The hands lightly push against thighs. Try not to sink into this, that's easy to do. Rather than resting in the joints, keep a sense of lift. Stay strong, and just turn your chest a little to the right. Okay, can your left knee stay back? It wants to fall forward. Okay, you might need to just untwist a bit. Return to center. And we'll press right shoulder gently forward and down. Knees back, especially the right one. Use your outer hips. Return to center. Lengthen your legs. Take a moment here. Okay, turn the feet in so they're parallel again. And step your feet together. Okay, face the front of your mat in mountain. Okay, to neutralize things, the legs and the hips, the spine. Okay, another breath. Okay, so now let's revisit stork. Okay, so we can just bring weight into the right foot. Lift your left knee just about hip level. Make a 90-degree angle at the knee. Okay, so your left ankle is below it. Okay, arms can reach up. Grow a little taller. Okay, from here, keeping left leg in this shape, bending 90 degrees, bring the thighs in line with each other. So your knee is still bending 90 degrees. Keep that right angle at your knee, and we'll try this version of Warrior 3 with left knee bending. Okay, so you're gonna hinge forward, arms could stay forward or go back. Okay, the sole of your left foot points to the ceiling basically. Okay, without letting the pelvis tip forward too much, can you raise your left thigh a couple centimeters behind you? Strong hamstring, keep lifting it. Another breath like this. Then extend your left leg back fully. Crescent lunge, right knee bends, left foot lands. Okay, you're on the ball of the left foot, arms up. Good work. Let's cactus elbows, lift through the chest. Arms up, hands to the mat. We're going to do a lizard lunge. So bring your left knee down, and you can heel toe right foot closer to the right edge of your mat. So it's essentially a wider low lunge. Left knee can move forward or back, depending on how long or short you need the lunge to be. Okay, just create a sustainable shape, a breathable pose. And stay on the hands first. Heart forward, remaining active in some ways. You could bring the elbows down. If you have blocks, maybe elbows are on blocks. Okay, adding a twist in a moment. Stay on your left hand or elbow. Okay, take right arm forward, up, and back. Just reach right hand back here. If you want to stretch the front of your left thigh more, bend the knee with the strength of your hamstring. Bend your left knee. You might be able to reach the foot with your right hand. Don't force it. We're going to try an active stretch. So while you pull your left foot closer to you, can you simultaneously take your foot back into your hand? So you're engaging the quadricep as it's lengthening, okay, for stability. Active stretching is a great way to still lengthen muscles while keeping them strong. Okay, so you're kicking your foot back as you pull it. One more breath. If you're holding your foot, with control, release it. Untwist right hand down. Tuck your left toes under. Left knee lifts, high plank. Downward facing dog, hips back. You might need to move a little, make some adjustments. Stay intuitive. Another breath. And come up high on the toes. Bend your knees, step or walk forward. Halfway lifts. Fold. Come up to standing. Okay, arms reaching high. Tall body, close hands at heart. Rest your arms. Soft through the shoulders. Don't lose your connection to the mat, even as we stand on one foot. So let's try the other side. Weight to your left leg for stork. You raise right knee. The arms could go up when you're ready. So the shape of right leg won't change for quite a while. Keep a 90-degree angle at the knee, making this L shape. Okay, then bring thighs in line with each other. The right foot should be behind you because the knee is bending about 90 degrees. For warrior 3 with the back knee bent, tilt forward with the torso, hinge at the left hip. The arms could be forward or back. The sole of your right foot points at the ceiling. Okay. Now try just to move your right thigh a little higher, like 2 centimeters, fire up the hamstring, extending your right hip. Keep strength here. Then extend your right leg back. Kick long with energy, one more breath. Crescent lunge, gently bend left knee, landing into your lunge on the ball of the right foot. The whole left foot is still planted. Arrive. Then cactus the arms. The arms up. Okay, hands to the mat. Almost forgot what was next. Let's do lizard now. So right knee is down. You can untuck right toes. Heel toe left foot closer to the left edge of your mat. Okay, you might start or stay on hands. You could always move right knee to shorten or lengthen your lunge. Okay, arms support you. Push into the mat. Chest forward. Option to go to elbows. Stay in tune with what's going on in the posture, internally, externally. Okay, so stay strong through the right hand or elbow. Take left arm forward, up and back, adding a twist. Keep left arm reaching back for now. To stretch the front of your right thigh and hip more, you could bend your knee. Just by bending the knee, you add that length. Okay, you might be able to reach your right foot with your left hand. Okay, do not force it. And you can start to pull your foot towards you. But as you pull the foot, kick it back, push it back against your hand. So activating the muscle while it stretches. Active stretching is especially beneficial if you are more flexible, okay? If your range of motion is wider. Okay? So just kick your foot back as you pull it. One more breath. No slingshots. Release your foot with control. Left hand down to the mat. Tucking right toes under, right knee lifts. Step back to plank. From plank, downward facing dog. One more breath. This is your last downward dog. Okay, lower the knees, and then kneeling, sit on the heels. All right, so we're going to try this variation of camel pose. You could just observe real quick here. Typically when we do camel, we just start back bending right away. We try to extend the spine and keep the hips forward. But what often happens is we just kind of fall into the low spine and put too much pressure on it. And I want to encourage you to balance out the back bend, to balance the load throughout the spine. So to help you do this, you want to use more of your lower body, your legs and your hips. So we're going to stand up on the knees about hip width apart. And then you're going to glue your arms to your sides. So arms are straight by your side body. And the goal for now is to keep this straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Okay, not bending at the hips. hips. Okay, the hinge will be at the knee first. Toes can be untucked or tucked, keeping a straight line. So brace the belly, tailbone a little down. Just lean back a little here. Lean back, not back bending. Then come up to where you started. So just getting a feel for how far you can go, depending on your knees. And again, lean back a little. Keep pushing through the feet. Okay, maybe go a little farther. Still not back bending. Okay, bending at the knees. Then come up strongly. One more time, you're gonna lean back. Not back bending yet. Maybe you go a little farther, pushing into the floor. Okay, to add on, you might bring hands to heels. Now that you're leaning back, you could reach the heels. Okay, then, for more of a traditional camel, you can start to bring more extension into the hips, pressing the pelvis up and forward, lifting the chest, balance the back bend. Another breath where you are. If you press the hips forward, bring them back, make a straight line from knees to shoulders. Return arms to your sides and rise up to where you started. Okay, just come to kneeling again, okay, or sit a different way if it's more comfortable. After that back bend, enjoy some stillness. Calming breath through the nose. Consciously slow it down. And hopefully that version of camel really helps you see how the lower body helps a lot in back bends. It's not just the spine doing all the work. Okay, take another breath here. Okay, now bring hips to one side if you're kneeling, and then take the legs forward. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Okay, we'll counter camel with cobblers. Lifting through the chest, holding ankles or feet. Okay, if the back rounds a lot right now, then move your feet away from you more. Then hinge forward at the hips. Folding, chest forward and a little down. You can softly lower the head. Sit up, hands to your outer knees, bring your legs together, and then just lower onto your back, lying down. Okay, once you're on your back, we'll just set up a final twist. So you can keep knees bending. Let's just have feet as wide as the mat. Arms could be away from you, maybe overhead, whatever you like. Take your knees to the right. Your head could turn left. An easy twist here. Stay or lift right foot and bring the outer right foot to the outer left knee, resting your foot over that left leg just to add some weight. Return your right foot to the ground, knees through center, feet are still mat width. Take knees left, your head could turn right. Stay or place outer left foot over outer right knee. Softly return left foot to the ground, knees to center. And we'll try a half happy baby. So left foot could stay planted on the mat. You could reach right hand to outer right foot. Maybe you hold the ankle or shin. Just choose a sustainable grip. I like to bring left hand over left hip bone to maintain a more level pelvis. Your right hand could try to pull your right knee down by your side, outside the rib cage. You could extend your left leg forward, okay, if it doesn't pull too much on your low back. Okay, you're going to bend right knee completely, step right foot on the mat, other side. Left hand to outer, left foot. Your knee could be outside your torso. Right hand could be a light weight over the right hip. Rest your head. Option to extend right leg forward. Another breath. Bend left knee completely, step left foot on the mat. Take a pause. Bend both knees to your chest, wrapping arms around your legs. Lower back towards the mat. Here we're doing the opposite of a back bend, flexing hips, flexing the spine. Give yourself a tight hug. Okay, from here, if you'd like to take a final resting pose, just choose your most comfortable position. Make sure you feel supported, safe, easy. Use props if you need to. If you are resting, try to let go of more effort as the ground holds you. Balance out everything we've done, all this dynamic movement with stillness. Give yourself permission to do nothing. Allowing the body and mind to reset. Stay here as long as you need. I appreciate you joining me. May this practice enrich and empower you how you move through your day. I'll see you next time. Thank you.